Orla Comerford, how excited are you for the Paralympic Games? It's around the corner at this stage.
I know, it's so close. No, I'm really excited. It's definitely kind of all feeling a bit more real now with team selection and kit and all that stuff. But yeah, very excited.
Talking about the kit, it's so nice, and the runners as well. It's gorgeous.
I know, we're all decked out. Loving it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're very lucky.
And tell us a little bit about your training and how that's been going.
Good, yeah, it's been a busy season. I kind of raced through May and June, and then in July now I've kind of gone back to a bit of a training block, kind of when you're racing back to back, obviously you kind of lose a little bit of that fitness because you're kind of not taking on as much volume in the gym or on the track. You need to be fresh for racing and make sure you're staying injury free, and so you kind of sometimes all that hard slog that you put in over winter or before the season kind of starts to dwindle a little bit. So kind of taking that opportunity to do a few weeks, get a block of kind of a bit more volume in at the moment, and then do a few more races to sharpen up before we head off on camp.
And this season has been really successful for you. You've gone from strength to strength. A PB as well, breaking that 12 seconds.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, brilliant.
It was kind of like a kind of a sense of joy, but then almost like a sense of relief that followed very quickly after, when you've been chasing it for so long. And I think for me, it just kind of felt like a bit of a gate that I'm hoping to run much faster times and into the 11.8s, the 11.7s. But in order to do that, you have to go under the 12, and it just feels like a bit of a gate you have to push through, and then hopefully the times from there will kind of come in the right direction,
What I haven't even mentioned, it is the 100 metres that you're competing in.
100 metres, yes.
Tell us about the training for the 100 metres, and I suppose how that might differ from, maybe people might be a bit more familiar with the 2 and the 4.
Yeah.
Tell us how that differs.
Yeah, look, there's definitely a lot more shorter, sharper work. I think it's funny, when you talk about, I'm like, oh, we have a big speed endurance session today. I'm like, we have 150s, and someone's like, 150 meters is volume. Like, are you real? So definitely, just the intensity of what you do is kind of a bit higher. It's more intentional. I think for us, like, we would say specifically have a day where we're doing speed, so we're kind of doing our flies, we're doing acceleration. Another day we're doing our block work, and another day we kind of do a little bit more of that volume. So making sure that we're moving fast across maybe 150, 120, 90, but taking proper recovery so that you're keeping the quality high of those reps. Like in winter, it's easier to kind of do the kind of slower, a little bit more, but longer, shorter recoveries, but kind of at this end of the season, trying to keep things fast, kind of keep the form and kind of build up that heart and lungs in that session a little bit as well. Well, as much as they're needed for 100 meters, but you know what I mean. I think for me, at the end of my 100 has been a bit of a weakness in previous years, just with injuries. I've kind of missed out on a little bit of that volume work where we were able to get back in and do some of the shorter, sharper work. We maybe weren't able to tolerate that longer stuff that I was doing a lot of on the bike or in the pool. So this year, being able to build that in, I'm really seeing the kind of rewards of that in the second half of my 100. Yeah.
And this is your 3rd Paralympic Games.
Yeah.
So you were at Rio and Tokyo. Mm-hmm. 2 totally different experiences, I'd imagine, with Tokyo
definitely.
Not having any supporters or that there. Yeah. And then you were so young, you're 18 years of age at Rio.
Yeah. No, I'm really kind of leaning into 3rd time's a charm for this one. And I think it's like as close to a home games as you're going to get. Like it's so close to home. There's so many people traveling out to it, which is so exciting. But I think to go into it with the experience of the other 2 was a real privilege as well. Like to be able to kind of have a bit more of a level head on your shoulders, to have been through kind of the media circus of it all, the kind of noise, the village, the kind of new experience of it, to be able to kind of be a little more kind of expectant of that helps. But I think, those experiences were very different. Like Rio to me was a real thrown in the deep end. I was 18. It was sort of the first kind of time I had represented Ireland. It was, a huge honour and a huge privilege. And I kind of expected that experience would stand to me, and then I would kind of reach the performance goals I had in Tokyo. And then through kind of the jigs and the reels and all of the kind of injuries that I had been in, that's not how it worked out. And with my coach passing just before I left, it was just a bit of an emotional roller coaster. You were there in a hotel room, isolated by yourself, away from family, away from friends. And then I picked up a bit of a quad strain on our camp, and I just, like, everything felt like it was crumbling, in front of me. And I kind of, it was so far from the expectation I had for the games, 5 years previous when I came away from Rio, and I said, like, wow, I'm going to come back and I'm going to be so different. And they were so different, and not in the way I had imagined. But I think that stood to me. I think I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my sport, and I hope that that's kind of definitely helped to build the athlete I am today and the position I'm in going into Paris.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to take a lot from that without even realising.
Yeah.
Like such a young athlete to go through all of that. I know you've spoken about Brian Corcoran, your coach that passed away before. I'm sure he's had a massive influence on your whole journey.
Huge, yeah. I think because he was kind of the coach I had when I took that move, that step from sort of loving athletics and doing it to kind of really stepping it up and taking it seriously. I think I kind of let a lot of my other sports go at that point. I focused in on athletics, and Brian saw a lot of potential in me, and he really built me up. I don't know that I saw that potential in myself, but he kind of really built me up. He'd tell me I'd run these times at the end of the season, and I'd start the season and I'd be like, he's mad, like I'm so far away from that, like I why does he think I could run that? And time again he was right, and I think that built up a lot of confidence in me, and even just the way his experience, his eye, the way he dealt with us in training was just something it's something that sticks with me, you know. I think his voice is kind of always in my ear, like when I'm doing a training session or when I'm at a competition, I feel his presence there, like, do you know what I mean? So I think for me that, yeah, it really shaped who I am as an athlete. And I think especially coming into this season, like finally breaking the 12, you know, like Jenny, his daughter, had sent me a message and I was just like, oh, I finally did it. He said I'd do it, and like I finally done it. It took me a bit longer than we both planned, but yeah, I think that's definitely, it's important.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And for people that might not know your story, or to tell us a little bit about how you came into Paralympics.
Yeah, so I suppose I joined athletics when I was really young. I was about 6 or 7 when I joined Raheny Shamrocks, and I was kind of mad about any sport where I could run, and so I asked if there was a sport where that's just what you did, and my mum signed me up. And then at the age of 11, I came home from my school holidays, back into school in 5th class, and I wasn't able to read like any of my books or the board anymore. And we subsequently found out that I had Stargardt's, which basically means that my central vision has deteriorated. It's quite poor, but my peripheral vision will be quite good. So like I'd have a good field of vision, but the detail of it will be quite poor. The quality of it is quite poor. So I think that for me was like, obviously a lot changed in my life then, but I was also 11, so I'm kind of like, I feel like I was most concerned about like what other people would think. Like you know, I don't think I was kind of thinking bigger picture about like my life, my future, my career. But as I got older, like those things, you know, I was confronted with those things when everyone starts to learn to drive and you realize I'm never going to drive, and you know, you learn those things as you go. But I think athletics for me was a really important tool in kind of building confidence for me. I kind of mentioned before, I had a great coach when I was that age who, he had great confidence in me as well, and he sort of helped to instill that in me. And I feel when I came up to the track and I felt like it was something I was good at, and something that, you know, there weren't barriers or boundaries in my way, he always found a way to kind of make me feel comfortable or make things work for me, and without ever feeling like I was different. And I think that helped to really kind of give me confidence. So then like going out in the world and other things, I think that stood to me, you know.
And was it hard to navigate it all at a young age? I know you mentioned there that you were 11, so you're probably not thinking too far ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I think I find it harder now, not to navigate. Like I think I'm obviously very used to it, but I think like my eyesight is much worse now than it would have been when I was 11. So I've been lucky that like I haven't had a dramatic drop off of a lot of sight quite quickly like I had initially, but it kind of happens gradually, which does mean it's easier to figure things out, because you kind of, instead of being able to do something yesterday and not today, it's maybe like you think, oh, I think a few months ago I was able to do that, or I didn't find that so challenging. But I find now as I get older and I become more aware and I'm sort of like learning more about myself and about the world around me, I can see the energy it takes to do the things that take other people no energy at all. I can understand a little bit more about how it impacts me, but it doesn't stop me. Like I'm still very determined. I do everything I want to do, but I think I found it not harder growing up, but I just think I understand it more now than I did at that time. I think there was a bit of blissful naivety, and I kind of was like, oh, whatever, I'll just do what I want, and like I can ignore this and I can just pretend it's not there and I'm just like everybody else. And that worked for me when I was young, but I think now it's sort of embracing it to me is more important, you know.
And for your family as well, to be able to, I'm sure that was hard for them to go through, and then for them to see you now competing must be incredible. Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm so grateful for the way they handled it when I was young, because I think that's what's given me the ability to kind of move with such independence and confidence now, is that they sort of were like,
oh my God, we can't keep her inside and bubble wrap her. We're going to have to push her out in the world so she figures things out, so that she can build that independence young. And, you know, so they were definitely really good at doing that. They definitely never told me there was anything I couldn't do. They let me figure out what I could or couldn't do for myself. I wasn't told, you know, they were they were great. They gave me that independence and that kind of confidence and the push that I think set me up for where I am today. So I think I definitely have them to thank for that.
Brilliant. And they'll obviously be looking forward to getting over now to Paris.
Yeah, no, they're very excited. So I'm very lucky to have their support. They're brilliant supporters, and they're always there when you need them, but they never overstep it. I think so. That's the lovely thing. They're not kind of always there in your ear. They're always there when you need them, and it's lovely to have that. And so they're all kind of getting geared up and excited for Paris now. So I'm excited to have them there.
What is the thing you're really looking forward to most?
Well, I mean, after the racing, it's definitely the food in
Paris
and the art museums. No, but I'm thinking, like, it has to be the support that's going to be there. I just don't think, you know, that's not something you're going to get for another, you know, how many more cycles is it going to be till the Games is back in Europe. So to be so close to home and to have so many friends and family coming out, I think I'm really looking forward to that buzz. I think it's kind of going to be a lift and a buzz and excitement that you just can't get it anywhere else, you know. So I'm really excited for that.
You mentioned the art museums. That's a big love of yours as well.
It is, yeah.
I'm loving your nails.
Thank you. Always something.
Yeah.
I definitely am kind of looking forward to the couple of days after to kind of explore Paris and, you know, get to see some of the lovely art that I've studied for years and never got to see in person. So I think that'll be fun.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So do you balance that obviously with doing your athletics as well?
So I'm working part-time at the moment in the Irish Museum of Modern Art. So yeah, it's really lovely for me, I think, to have a space that's separate from athletics, something that's kind of totally different and, you know, a whole different group of people and a different space. It keeps my mind kind of cleared. I think, you know, it's so easy to get wrapped up in your sport, and because, like, I think your sport, people think it's just the time you spend on the track or in the gym, and like that's only half of it. The rest is your sleep, it's how you fuel, it's the timing of fueling, it's, you know, it's very easy for that to become a thought in every moment of the day. And so to have a space that kind of takes you away from that, I think is really helpful for me anyway. So I find kind of having a space that's creative as well is great. I think it's also like financial security, which makes a big difference when you're an athlete, to kind of have that is really important. And so I've kind of found that security and the routine and the creative space has really been important.
Amazing. Well, the very best of luck. Can't wait to watch
so
it on.
much.
Thank you. Greta Streimikyte, it's great to get a chance to sit down and chat ahead of the Paralympic Games. It's only 41 days away now, I'm getting told. How excited are you?
I am, and to be honest, I'm now very excited after today because, like, I feel like every time, with Rio was a bit different, with Tokyo was again different, and now because people were kind of like towards the end, after, you know, throughout all the year, people like, are you excited? Are you excited? I was like, no, I'm not really, not yet. It's too early. And now, well, today we're at the team announcement, so I guess it's not too early now. So I feel like now I can say yes. I think it's getting excited. It's getting exciting. You know, to make the third Games. You know, I couldn't be more grateful to people around me and my body that was able to handle the training, and you know, it's a good position to be in.
Oh, it absolutely is. You mentioned your third Games. So obviously being at Rio and Tokyo as well, will you take experiences from that, do you think?
Absolutely. I feel like every game's been different, the two of them. The first one will always going to be the first one, and they're always going to be something different. Then, like we said, with Tokyo, again, it was different because of COVID. Now with Paris, you know, we're back to Europe, people will be come, and, you know, we're going to have a lot of Irish support there, and family, and also I guess it also comes down to the experience as an athlete and how long I've been in sport. I always say we're always learning, it's never ending, but you also have years behind under your belt, you know, and I feel like I'm gonna be a bit more calmer. I feel, you know, I'll have more, because I know how it is now. There's a lot of things that I don't need to worry anymore. Because I know how things work, I know what to expect, and that's all down to experience and the games, the number of games that you went to compete.
And tell us about your training for the 1500 and I suppose how you're looking for endurance but speed at the same time. It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. Well, our Phelim, our coach, his philosophy is more towards endurance.
Yeah.
So the winters there's been loads of miles logged, and which I love. I loved. This was the most miles I ever done in my life.
Wow.
So it was kind of like a bit of testing the body, but I trust the body. I was like, okay, we'll see. And I feel like I handle it well. Nobody talks about the mental side of running these miles, but you learn, how to cope with it and all these things. But I feel like, so endurance for winter was definitely the main aim, the main box to tick. And then now we're towards the races coming up, the race that has been done. You kind of getting a bit more faster and doing more faster pace-based stuff. But we throughout the years we still did that a bit of, let's say, flying 20s, a bit of kind of touch on that flat speed, which is so important to have in general.
And you mentioned the mental side of the game, like that is so important. It's such a good point to make because there is such highs and lows and tough training days, and having your mind right is probably the key to all of this. Has there been maybe psychologists and things like that have been available to you, or have you worked with anyone like that?
Well, I think mental side, I feel like now it's great because we do talk about it more than we did in the past. Because we're like body, and you're like, you have to go through, like you have to just, and I would be that kind of person, and as we would be as an athlete, we're like, you push it through, and like majority of the cases it works, but there's cases when it doesn't work. So I think the key is to have the tools to help. The most important thing about mental side is having the tools to deal with in a certain situation that you are in. Like, yes, we have a sports psychologist here, she's great. I worked with her a bit, but I think the important thing is to have the tools and to have the people. Mm-hmm. I always say the people that's going to be there to support you. There's going to be, even when you have bad days, even to people that you can just say like, oh my God, I had the training. So just to let it out there and say, and the people, I feel like they're so important. That's where I definitely, I always knew that, but especially I feel like when you have tough times or things doesn't go your way, that people that you can go and chat to and say like, maybe here's something outside the box, like see different perspective. It's so important. And either if it's a sports psychologist or your teammate or anybody that you feel comfortable talking about it, which needs to be said, that's the way you go. That's how you able to survive in sport. That's how you can strive. Strive is like the word, because otherwise it's not possible.
Mm-hmm. And for people that might not know your story, Greta, tell us, you are from Lithuania and grew up in Ireland.
I did, so I came to Ireland when I was 15 years old, so I always joke around when I'll turn 30, it's gonna be half of my life in Ireland and half of my life in Lithuania. But yes, it's been when I look back, it's like, geez, where did the years go? Yeah. But I'm my dad was he came to Ireland to work, and then it kind of years passed by, like he went with the goal just to go for a year or two, but the years were passing by, and my parents were always that kind of people. They knew they wanted for us to have an education outside Lithuania just because of English language more than anything, because they knew it's like, you have to know this, you have to. So their goal was always this. And then when my dad kind of was in Ireland for a few years, he started kind of like, okay, so he's kind of has his foot one foot in there. Maybe if you settle a bit more, maybe it actually would be a great opportunity then for us to move in to Ireland. And that's what happened. And then when we turned 50, when I turned 50, I moved to Ireland.
Amazing. And tell me about getting involved with Paralympics Ireland, and I suppose being part of this family, because it feels like everybody's pretty close here.
To be honest, it is, but I always think, well, there is a saying it takes time for the best things to happen, and I think we all get on really well. I feel like we have a great team dynamic going on. With 4 girls and 1 boy, but as a girls we're delighted. But so I would say my journey was. I always say it's big thank you to my PE teacher. I always mentioned it so many times now, but he is a person he needs to be mentioned in the story, because if not him, he was the one that kind of mentioned to me about parasport, because when I came to Ireland, I didn't really know about the sport, and I feel like he was the one that put that idea of like, oh, what would you think about representing Ireland in Paralympic Games? And I feel like from that thought, from that suggestion, it kind of, my journey kind of began, because then I joined the club, then I started racing, started training, and then I was able to aim for qualification to the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. So I feel like that's how my journey, it all happened, but I always say you only need one person, and that can change the rest of your life.
And what's his name?
Sean Gallagher.
Wow. Yeah. And that is so important, because you do just need someone to take notice. And as you said, you might not ever have known about these competitions.
Like, my parents thought I'm going to be a musician, and now, because in Lithuania I was very into music, but here you go now, like, music out the window.
You're an athlete.
I'm an athlete. That's for me the only one person, yeah.
Yeah, incredible. So just a month away now, so you're obviously massively looking forward to that, and your family are too. Overall, what is the thing you're looking forward to most? Is it getting on the track? Is it feeling the buzz of the crowd? Is it experiencing it? What is it for you?
It's the atmosphere. It's always the atmosphere, and that's why I say that Rio would be, you never forget it, because as nervous as I was, and I was so nervous at my first Paralympic Games, I remember standing at that approach towards the track where we are gonna let off to kind of go towards our start line, and I remember looking up, and you just see all the people, and I was like, Jesus, we're like gladiators, you have to fight. And that is true. Like, we fight in a different way, but we do, because everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be as close as the medals as possible. Yeah. So, like, that's the atmosphere. Like, you're just there, and like, oh, Jesus, this is beginning now, So, I think like that's the feeling that you get, and you just can't replicate it. It's not possible. So I feel like we all as an athlete probably missed that, because it wasn't the case for Tokyo, because it wasn't possible, and now we're back on it. We're back where there's going to be people there looking at us race, and it's incredible when you think about it, that people come to watch us. Like, that is the biggest honor, that is the biggest that you can ask for. Yeah. Do you know?
Oh, amazing.
And you can feel it. You can feel the people there.
Yeah. Well, you're an absolute joy. Thank you so much. I love that.
Thank you.
Best of luck now, and I'll definitely be following along on the journey. I get to go over, so I can't wait to see you.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Aron Shorten, you must be very excited at the team naming day for the Paralympics. Tell me what it means to you to be here, to be representing Ireland at the Paralympics.
It means a lot to be here, and it means a lot to me, and running's always been my favourite sport, and it's only sport I've been good at, and I'm delighted to get a chance to represent Ireland in the Paralympic Games, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Was there any other sports growing up? Did you play? Was it always athletics, or was there football or GA or anything?
I used to do other sports as well. I wasn't good at it. I did GA. Wasn't good at it. Didn't understand the sport at the time, but wasn't good at it. Did football. Wasn't good at it. Then I did boxing. No, wasn't good. Then running, that was the last sport for me. So since then I just knew that was the right one for me, and what I was good at, and
I was just chatting to Greta, your teammate there, and she was saying that it was a PE teacher that really saw it in her. She didn't even know that she would be able to do this. Did you ever have anyone that sort of said to you, you should look into this, you should compete in this?
Yeah, and in primary school I used to have I used to do the schools cross country and all. We used to do laps around the yard and all, and some of the principal and the running he's a coach for the school. He does training at the school, and he said to me, "You should be in a running club. I reckon you'd be a great runner." And the principal as well, all of them said, and since then I just joined the running club then, and they knew that's what you're good at, and I just I'll join, and just knew then, and yeah,
it's worked out.
And all, yeah.
Oh, good stuff. And what has this meant for your family?
Good, everything, and that they're very proud that I'm here, and my parents and my brother are very proud that I'm here. They're very proud that I'm going to Paralympic Games, and they're looking forward to. Parents are going over as well.
Oh, good stuff.
So yeah. Brilliant.
And obviously you've been to Paris, you've competed there, so you have a little bit of experience in Paris.
Yeah, I got to experience the city, and it's very nice. We're the south side, and it's nice, and the city's nice, and the warm weather's nice, and it's good.
Brilliant. And tell me a little bit about your training now. You have a day off today?
Day off today, yeah.
Good stuff. You need them.
Yeah, that's it.
And what does the rest of the week look like for you then?
Most week I have a new coach training, and most of the time on a Thursday I go to Lawrence Tools and train, but I say tomorrow will be the session that I'm meant to be doing today will be tomorrow, and all endurance and threshold and all, and be good, and so yeah.
Brilliant. And then how much of the nutrition side of things and in the gym and all that all comes with it?
Yeah.
Are you always, I suppose, thinking of that and making sure you keep that in practice?
Yeah, always and thinking about that, and keep my diet the same, and make sure my diet is very good as well, and with the training and all, and eating the right food and all, and yeah.
And tell us about the team here. Obviously, it's the team naming day today.
Yeah.
You're the only lad on the team. How do you find that?
Good. Good.
And it's a great team as well.
It's a great squad as well. A great team. It's great to be surrounded by a lot of good athletes, fantastic athletes, and it's very good.
And the facilities and everything that you have at your disposal here is incredible.
They've great facilities they have as well, and it's very good.
Have you been into the chamber in Sport Ireland?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's good. It's very warm.
Yeah.
Very warm.
I know. I got to go in and do it. It was a little bit of a session on the treadmill there, and you could be on it for 2 minutes and you feel like you've ran 20 minutes in 30 degrees heat. Well, I did. Might be a little bit different for you, Aaron.
Yeah, I've done nearly an hour on it.
Yeah.
About half an hour on the treadmill. I done a treadmill with session in it, and it was to get used to the heat in the chamber and as well, and after in Portugal I didn't take the heat well, and I got sunstroke as well, so just to get used to the climate, and that's what I done the heat chamber, and it was very good. Yeah, it's
having all of these things sort of ready to go and practice. So what are you looking forward to most? Is it getting on the track? Is it supporters? Is it hearing the noise of the crowd? What is it for you?
Just looking forward to the experience as well, and hearing the crowd as well, the noise of the crowd. I hear them chanting my name, and it's very good. It's good to hear them, and running on the track, and wearing the colour, the Ireland top as well, and wearing the colour green as well. It's it's brilliant, and it's not a better feeling.
Yeah. Did you ever think you would represent Ireland?
When I was younger, well, probably not. When I became good, then I just knew I can. I'm able to. I'm capable of doing it, and so I knew then, and the minute I became juvenile, like running, I became good. Then I just knew I can represent Ireland. I believe I can do it, and I just knew then.
You're doing it. Well done, Aaron. Thank you so much for your time. Shauna Bocquet, it is great to sit down and have a chat with you ahead of the Paralympic Games. How excited are you? They're only around the corner now.
Yeah, my first games, so I'm really, really excited and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, the team naming day today, so hearing that you're officially on the team, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a dream come true for me, being named my first Paralympic team. Since I started back in 2012, it's always been a dream of mine to represent Ireland at the Paralympic Games, and we're almost there.
Yeah. Where did you get the inspiration to compete as a para-athlete?
So I started racing after watching the Paralympics in London in 2012. So the athletes there kind of inspired me to get racing.
Mm-hmm. And where did you go to really get involved? Was there a local club or anything that you could join? Or?
So it was actually, I was playing wheelchair basketball at the time. My first sport was wheelchair basketball. And through wheelchair basketball, then that's how I got into wheelchair racing. Mm-hmm. I got spotted through the basketball, and then so then I got started with the wheelchair race and then I loved it, so then I've kept it.
And tell me about your favourite race, because you're quite unique in that you have 3.
Yeah, it's quite common for wheelchair racers to do multiple, especially at young age. Obviously, as you get older, you specify in certain events. So as I get older and I build up that speed, I'm going to specify in the 1500 and 5k and upwards. But for now, because I'm still quite young, we're still building up that speed, because obviously as you get older, it's harder to get faster.
So at the Paralympic Games, just so people are aware, you're going to do the 100 metres, the 1500 metres and the 5000 metres.
Yeah.
Amazing. And out of those 3, do you have a favourite?
My favourite at the moment will be the 1500 and the 5, and out of the 2, my favourite out of those 2 will probably be the 5k at the moment.
Wow. So you like the endurance type of ones?
Yeah, I really like it's just more exciting because it's more tactical and you're actually racing in a pack with people, so it makes it more exciting.
Amazing. And can it get a bit busy as well while everyone is there together? Do you have to sort of have your wits about you?
Yeah, you have to kind of be aware of your surroundings and stay concentrated the whole time, because one wrong move or slip of the hands and could be.
Yeah. And going to the Paralympics, like, has this been a dream to represent your country?
Yeah, it's been a big dream of mine since the very beginning, so
amazing.
Really happy.
And is your friends and family going to go out to Paris?
Yeah, so my mom, dad and my brother and sister will go out with me, and my dad's actually French.
Amazing.
So I actually have family over there, so they'll come and watch me then as well.
Oh my god, good stuff. So this is amazing. The whole family can be there then. Yeah, good stuff. And you're training now. Tell us what it is like at the minute and what it will be like in the build up to the Paralympic Games.
It's quite busy at the moment. I finished college there a couple of weeks back, so we've kind of taken advantage of the extra time to kind of add in 1 or 2 extra easy sessions, just to get more miles in. But it's quite busy at the moment, but I'm really happy with how training is going and I'm really enjoying it, so I can't wait for the build up to Paris.
Yeah, good stuff. And is it hard at times to balance, I suppose, as you said there, college and being a para-athlete at the same time?
College this year was quite tough because I started my season quite early, so I was away for quite some time this year, but it was worth it.
Yeah, well, it is worth it now.
It's worth it now, yeah.
And you have the time to sort of just hone in on just competing and really getting your training in now, so it's nice, I'm sure, to forget about college for a little while.
Yeah, just being an athlete.
Exactly. And tell me about your other athletes that are here on your team. It seems like you're really close knit.
Yeah, no, it's we are a really close bunch. I actually only started coming. My first team selection was last summer for the World Championships in Paris, so I'm still kind of getting to know them. But they're a really close bunch, and they're a really nice bunch as well. They're great people to hang out with. So
brilliant. And it must have been nice to get over to the championships in Paris to get a feel for Paris as well.
Exactly, yeah. It's like we've been to the Paris already, so we kind of know what's our surroundings and.
Yeah. And overall, what is the one thing that you're really looking forward to? Is it getting out there on the track? Is it experience Paris? Is it the supporters, the buzz? What is it for you that you can't wait for?
I think it's pretty much the whole experience, really, getting into the village. Like, I've never experienced any of that before, so I'm assuming it'd be completely different than just going into a different competition, in a hotel. I think the village will be a completely different atmosphere and experience. So I can't wait to experience that. And obviously then the racing, I really can't wait for that.
Brilliant, Shauna. Well, thank you so much for your time and the best of luck now with all your training, and I can't wait to see you in action in Paris.
Thanks very much.
Thank Mary Fitzgerald. We were just saying there, we're getting so excited for the Paralympic Games. It's team naming day today.
Yes.
How does it feel for you at the minute?
It's incredibly exciting, really. Yeah, it's nice that it's finally official. For so long we weren't allowed to say anything and stuff like that, and the official selection wasn't made until today or very recently. So it's really exciting, and to be selected for my second Paralympic Games, it's really exciting.
Yeah, so you got to go to Tokyo and you performed there, but there was no crowds, there was no family or friends able to be there at the time.
Yes.
And I'm sure this is going to be a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's surreal, really, how unique Tokyo was in terms of like the rules, restrictions, distancing, keep away family, and obviously I was around my close family, which was really lovely, and they supported me through it all. But yeah, this time around being able to involve more of my family in this amazing experience is just makes it all the better.
And how has your training been going?
Training's been going well. It's been busy. It's getting more and more focused as time goes on. Like, we're fine tuning and stuff like that. Like, we know the technique I want to use in competition, and it's just about the finer details at this point. How do we make sure that I put on my best possible performance when it matters most? So yeah.
And it's the shot put.
Yes.
So tell us, what are the technicalities? What are the real things in training you have to look after when you're training for the shot put?
Yeah, so every training session looks different because there are so many elements to focus on. Like, there's a strength piece, which I kind of conduct away from the circle in the gym, stuff like that. But stuff like, say, the angle of release, how much torque you're building up in your body as you rotate through the circle, the drive with your left leg, the speed in terms of acceleration from the middle point on. I could go on, but I won't. Yeah, there are just so many points that they seem so small or insignificant, but when you get them right and when they all come together, it's like, there's no better feeling than a good throw. Yeah.
And was it always the shot put for you?
Yeah, so when I first got involved in parasport, I competed in javelin, discus and shot put, probably some of the three main throwing events. But then as time went on, as I kind of figured, okay, I want to commit more time to this, I kind of figured that I need to commit more time to, or my time to one event really, and just figure out what I loved, what I enjoyed, what I was sort of good at. I decided to pick shot put. So yeah.
Amazing. And how did you find yourself competing in Paralympics and like para-athletes? How did you find yourself in this sport?
Yeah, so I first, like, growing up with a disability, I loved sport, loved being active, loved being on the move, but at that moment I didn't see myself being in professional sport, and I was like, yeah, okay, I love sport, but look, I may have to pursue other things. But I suppose watching the London 2012 Paralympics on TV, I saw what was possible for individuals like me, and that it's not just, okay, yeah, we'll give you a chance to compete in sport, it's that you're competing in fair sport at an elite level. So it was very appealing to me. And then in terms of taking actions to get involved in sport myself, I got involved with IWA Sport, so they not only work with people with athletes or individuals who use wheelchairs. At the grassroots level, they work with individuals with all types of physical disability. So working with them from grassroots level up all the way to where I am today, they were a great start, and just kind of getting myself up and running with a technique, with all the pieces. So yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to them.
And what does sport mean to you?
Where do I start? I know it sounds cheesy, but genuinely, I do have a true passion for sport. I genuinely enjoyed it, even though it has given me, or it has provided challenging moments as well. It's not always straightforward. It's not always roses and rosy and stuff like that. I have had some of my most incredible moments in my life through sport, whether it's becoming a Paralympian at Tokyo or becoming a European bronze medalist. It has given me so much, but it's also the silly memories I've had along the way that I still laugh about to this day, the countries I've travelled to, the people I've met, just countless memories really.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And so now, just over a month out from the games, what is training going to look like for the next couple of weeks? Will you have I suppose a sort of a taper and down time as well, where you will sort of take some time off to rest?
Yeah, so a lot of the time with my training, it's not so much that I cut off training completely, it's more that I reduce the volume and reduce the frequency of the training. So because I'm not competing until September 7th, that won't happen for another good while. Like, I'm on the second last day of the Paralympics, and we still have nearly a month to go before we go out and camp. So it's there's still a lot of time left, but yeah, a lot of planning has got into kind of how do we maximize the remaining weeks in terms of what we want to achieve, what we want to refine, and in terms of what performance I want to put on in Paris. Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to most? Is it getting out to the track? Is it the atmosphere, the supporters? What is it for you?
I think just every aspect of it, genuinely. I think just, even I remember with Tokyo, we were travelling up from the holding camp in Narita to the Tokyo Paralympic Village, or the Athletes Village, and we were driving along the motorway or whatever, and in the distance my teammate and I saw the village, and we're like, yeah, we've made it, we're actually here, like this is like, we're going to become Paralympians, like this is not a joke, this is not a dream. And yeah, I think just the small things, like small parts of the experience that are incredible, but also just being able to represent my country on this stage at the highest level. I'm very proud of it, and just having my family there, I think as well, this time around, being able to look out into the stands and see them or hear them. Yeah, I'm very excited.
What has this meant to them to see you at this world stage, you know, being a Paralympian?
Yeah, I suppose they have been there as much as my coach is involved for so much of my training and so much of my sporting life. Like, I live with my family, so they see every aspect of it. They see my highest of highs and my lowest of lows, and how hard I've worked to get to where I am today. So they've been so incredibly supportive through all of this. So I'm so grateful to them, really. So to have them involved in this whole process is really fab.
Amazing,
Yeah.
Mary. Well, the very best of luck.
Thanks
I can't
very
wait
much.
to go along. I'll be there, so I'll get to see you in action.
Thanks a million. Thanks
Thank
very much.
you.
Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
it.